Dead men tell no tales, but their ships speak volumes. Welcome to the Cursed Compass, where we explore the darkest maritime mysteries. Winter diving off the coast of New Jersey demands a specific kind of optimism. You're gearing up on a small boat pitching in dark water, preparing to drop into an ocean that's hovering right around 45 degrees. The destination for this freezing plunge is 50 feet below the surface. Down in the sandy sediment lies the wreck of the SS Delaware. Before it became a destination for cold water wreck divers, the Delaware spent its first life as a commerce vessel, hauling freight along the eastern seaboard, past to crowded beaches of the late 1800s. When the Spanish-American War broke out, the U.S. government drafted the ship into service. They retrofitted her decks, packed her with armaments, and sent her out as an armed naval steamer. Today, the wreck carries an intense local mythology. Divers know her as the Giver of Bells, and rumors persist up and down the coast that a sealed safe full of 19th century money is still resting somewhere in her remains. Rolling backward off the gunwale of the dive boat effectively functions as a transition between eras. The moment the water closes over your head, you leave the modern world and descend toward a landscape defined by the remnants of 1890s technology. This diagram shows the specific mechanics of how wooden ships decay underwater. While steel vessels often maintain their shape, a wooden hull slowly collapses outward onto the seafloor as the organic material rots. Eventually, the structural ribs flatten out, leaving only the heaviest machinery standing. To navigate this debris field, divers use the ship's towering steam engine and the long metal propeller shaft as central landmarks, orienting themselves around the steel components that outlasted the wood. Finding history requires digging through decades of modern interference. The Delaware sits in a prime coastal fishing spot, and over the years, the wreck has trapped thousands of lead sinkers, blanketing the artifact beds in piles of modern weights up to 6 inches deep. This shows the heavy copper sheathing engineers used to protect large vessels. Metallic plates were nailed directly into exterior timbers, forming protective armor against marine borers and shipworms. Today, divers find this dimpled, oxidized copper scattered near the propeller. Beyond the industrial machinery and the protective plating, the sediment preserves the smaller, more personal details of the crew's lives. We can identify the specific window of the ship's operation by looking at the change that fell out of the crew's pockets. The sediment frequently yields Indian head pennies, with dates like 1862 and 1907 providing exact chronological anchors for the wreck. Artifacts also map the ship's trade route. Divers have recovered glass bottles embossed with the Jacksonville Steam Bottle Works logo. This confirms a direct line of commerce from the Florida coast up to the New York and New Jersey inlets. The recovery of ceramic chamber pots, decorated with elaborate floral patterns and painted birds, this provides a direct link to the daily habits of life at sea before the advent of modern onboard plumbing. These 3 distinct elements, the hull sheathing, the currency, and the tradeware, collectively identify the SS Delaware as a specific node in the 19th century maritime network, allowing us to see how the ship functioned both as a machine and a home. As divers follow the anchor line back toward the surface, the perspective on the wreck shifts. The remains of the Delaware have taken on an entirely new biological function. Heavy-clawed Jonah crabs crawl over the scattered brass spikes, making their homes directly inside the hollow cavities of the artifact piles. This diagram illustrates how the wreck acts as an artificial reef. The physical structure on the flat sandy bottom forces cold ocean currents upward, carrying nutrients toward the surface and supporting a layered food chain. That food chain culminates right at the dive buoy. On this expedition, the divers broke the surface to find a pod of dolphins and a massive whale circling their boat, staying close to the nutrients pushed up by the wreck below. It is a striking contrast. After spending an hour in the freezing darkness sifting for fragments of a forgotten 19th century steamer, you ascend into the bright daylight alongside the largest living mammals on Earth. The SS Delaware has moved past its original roles in commerce and war. Today, it exists as a productive artificial reef and a physical archive that continues to yield its history to the divers who visit it.